Imagine if you could attract joy, luck, and abundance all based on your numbers. This is Robert Manni, host of Guys TV, and this week my special guest is Astronumerologist Jesse Kalsi. It all starts right here, right now on Guys TV. You can also catch me on KCAA Radio in Southern California and my worldwide podcast, Guys TV, Guys Radio. Thanks for your support. Okay, Guys Radio, interview portion of the show, my favorite part of the show because I get to meet some really cool people, and I've got a special person today for our 499th Guys Radio show. Let me tell you a little bit about our special guest. His name is Jesse Kalsi, and he's an expert on numbers and astronumerology. So no doubt you've heard about numerology. Everybody's, fascinated by numbers, the study of the influence of numbers on your life and destiny. But have you heard about astronumerology? It's discovery of our guest, Jesse Kalsi, world-renowned counselor sought out by Hollywood and Bollywood stars, Silicon Valley billionaires, real estate moguls, and people just like you and me. Jesse discovered the interconnection between planets and numbers. You can make certain assumptions about your optimum numbers that can be counter-influenced, though, by a planet that isn't in alignment with the numbers you thought were favorable. Jesse can predict positive or negative outcomes based on the numbers of your home address, bank account, cell phone, car, colors you wear, partners, and people, including lovers, investments, favorite months of the year for you, and even your pet, which is interesting, based on your numbers and how they match or conflict with other elements in your life. He's a successful real estate broker, a certified federal aviation administrator, flight instructor, and he holds a commercial pilot's license. He attended India's equivalent to West Point. He had a career in the Army, but he was informed of his true life purpose and resigned to pursue helping people through this unique understanding and perspective of numerology. Currently lives and works in California. My special guest today, we're going to talk about astronumerology and his new book, all about numbers, attract luck, abundance, and joy based on your numbers. Everything that you need to know about your personal numbers. Welcome to Guys Radio, Jesse Kalsi. How are you, Jesse?
Oh, wonderful. I'm so excited to be here with you today. Thank you so much.
Well, interesting story that you have. So tell us about a little bit about your background for our listeners, about your military career, and then how you decided to make this shift towards specializing in numerology and then creating your own version of that, which is astronumerology.
You're good. So my younger days, I served the Indian Army as and up to the rank of a captain with the elite Gurkha Rifles, and I served the Indian Army for almost 8.5 years, with about 4 years of training from the National Defense Academy and the Indian Military Academy. So my total time in uniform, you say, almost 13 years. And then when I was posted up in the J&K frontier, this was up 1987, 86, that time, I started having this strange feeling. I was not very comfortable suddenly, being in a position where I could, be told to pull the trigger on, across the border. There was so much activity there all the time, and it made me very uncomfortable suddenly. I realized that, I should not be in this business of, where human life is lost, right? I just did not like it anymore. Suddenly, a sudden shift. And then when I approached my commanding officer, I said, I want to, resign. He says, what's wrong with you? You got a good record of service, and who's going to let you go? They don't let you go like this. But I kind of insisted, right? And then he realized, well, this guy's already made up his mind. And then, he helped me kind of transition and get out of the military, which I did. So then after, I had come to the United States earlier. I came here in 1986 I was already being attracted to a flight school in Texas, Meacham Field in Texas, Fort Worth. So then I came back here. I had, with whatever money I had saved and got from my service, right, I used that money to get my certificates. I got my private, my instrument, and my commercial pilot's license in Texas. And then from there, I, intuitively just kind of came towards California here. And then I'll say, it's just by the grace of God, things fell into place, and I started my, the second innings of my life. But it was very difficult. I did not know many people. It was a big struggle. I was working odd-end jobs. I was, as much as delivering pizzas and driving a shuttle at Oakland Airport and a whole bunch of stuff. But then I gradually, with my, my mindset, right, I kept pushing myself up and up. Then I got because I didn't have money at that time to get my flight instructor's rating. I had finished all my money in Texas. So I put some money together and I gradually came through the CFI, which I got. And then that flight school gave me a little job there. So I was making $15 an hour, initially for a year or so, and I thought that was not enough too. And then I met some people, got into real estate, and got my license and broker, and then I just went on. But still, that was not enough, and then something kept nudging me. I felt that there was something more to this whole thing, right? I had some very basic knowledge of numbers at that time, very basic, and then I started using it. I remember my first apartment was a number 27, which was my number actually. Started working for me, and then I started applying it different places, wherever I could a little bit. I realized that things started shifting gradually, and then as I got into property, clients slowly started coming in, buying and selling, and then helping people with numbers and seeing how the equity was going up, and so it just kept getting better and better. I felt as someone was standing behind me to help me, and then it just kept going up and up and up. And then early 2000, I had this one client who consulted with me, and then suddenly she introduced me to a radio station in San Francisco. This was by a lady called Bonnie Colleen, right? She was very popular in the morning drive time, and so she gave me a chance to be on her station, and the listeners liked it very much, and then it just kept going from there. So
how did you develop your you have an interest in numbers, but how did you develop this methodology and your expertise in it? Was it intuitive, or did you study numerology, or how'd you get there?
It's applied though, it's applied. See about the applications of astronumerology, a little different than the other schools of numerology, right? It has an association of planets and numbers. Now, this tradition is practiced by the Vedas for more than 5,000 years. The Chaldean code has been used for a number of years, but what I have done by writing these two books with my life experience, I've researched it more, right? It's gone deeper, right? And that has happened because of my connect with so many people, right? With so many people. So, well, you can say I've gone deeper into it, and I guess I might know a little bit more than the others who know about astronumerology or whatever.
Okay.
So, yeah.
How do let's just get right to it. How do numbers impact our lives? There's so many different numbers. We talked earlier before we got on the air, and I shared some of my numbers: my name, my birth date, my type of car I drive, the license plate number, my residence, what floor unit I'm in, etc. Social Security, adding up all the numerals there. How does all of these things, going all the way through to your pet, how does all these things come about?
Yeah, so this is it's all about harmonizing energy, right? So what we use the Chaldean code, which is available anywhere. You can look at that, and the other codes as well. I use the Chaldean because I find it more accurate. So so once we get to the basic, the first thing we need is your date of birth, and we need the correct date of birth, right? And from there, there's a method by which I do a little calculation, and I can pick up the best numbers, right? Like in my case, it is the number 3 and 9, and in your case, it is different, but we talked about it earlier. So what we do is with those numbers, right, we fine tune the rest of our energies, So in my case, like I have April the 3rd, I have a lot of Jupiter and Mars energy. So my name, Jesse Kalsi, actually my official name is Jasbir Singh Kalsi, but my popular name is Jesse Kalsi, and I have tuned that to my numbers, my best number 9, right? And then so is the place where I live, the color of my car, the kind of clothes I normally wear, and the gemstones I wear, and all that. So I'm very focused on this energy because I've seen this for a long period of time, how it kind of works in certain periods and sometimes it does not. So that is the idea. So we pick up the basic energy, the basic codes, and then from there it's all about fine-tuning, harmonizing the energy, right? So you might have the best code, right? You say, I have the best numbers, but you live in a house that is not compatible with you. It brings many challenges. Say, for example, you have the best course. You got Mercury and Venus on your date of birth, which is really good, 5 and 6s, and then you end up in a house number which is 108. That will neutralize the effect completely, because that energy of 1 and 8 is contradicting. The Sun and Saturn are contradicted, bring many challenges on the door. Things like cuts, injuries, accident, family court, legal trouble, separation, whole bunch of stuff will stand on the door. But professionally, you'll excel as a medical professional, or if you're in the law enforcement only. But personal challenges won't leave you. So in a situation like that, there's something called as number patching. Patching is a technique by which we add smaller numbers, and that's my trademark too. We use a smaller number, which is planetary energy, to shift the vibe on the door, to make the energy flow better, right? So we do that all the time. And the rest of it, see, our names are very important. So our names have to be balanced with the right vibration. The homes we live with also have to be corrected, right direction and balance. Our business names are very important. Our business addresses are very important. The cars that we drive, the plates on the cars are very important. The colors have to be in tune with our numbers. The gemstones and things that we wear, our timing. Now it is important to understand that even if you have the best number, best score, right, you are not lucky every day. No one is lucky every day. So you have to understand that. So there's certain times in the year. See, for me, my best season is spring and fall. It comes about that time. I know when March comes, March, April, May, about the middle of June it'll go. And then the rest, it'll start flattening out. And then comes more fall time. And then, so I pick up these times are more prominent things. And so is for the rest of us. So.
Okay. My special guest on Guys Radio is number and astronumerology expert, Jesse Kalsi. We're talking about numbers. So let's get just an example for our listeners. I gave you my name, Robert Manni, and I gave you my birth date. What are my numbers and how did you ascertain them?
Very good. So
how did you?
Yeah, but so based on your, there's a little calculation, right? I haven't explained that in my book either. It takes a little calculation, right?
Okay.
And it is different for everybody. But based on your code with the numbers that you gave me, or your date of birth, we picked up the best numbers. And in your case, it was Sun, which is number 1, and it was 7, which is 7 is Neptune. So we have Sun and Neptune, and Sun and Neptune also. The Sun, of course, brings fame, and Neptune. Neptune is intuitive. So your first call on people is really good. You can understand people very well, and you don't have to second guess yourself ever, because whatever it comes. See, a lot of people, are just lucky. Why? I can tell you, because they follow their intuition too. They follow the inner call. And they know that this is the right place for us, but most of us don't really. But in your case, your intuition is really good. And you should always stick with your first call and not second guess yourself.
Now, how?
Also,
go ahead. No.
Yeah. So what happens is also in that energy, right, for your date of birth, right? So what happens is, December the 22nd, right? So just kind of slowly stepping into the energy of Saturn, gets into the beginning of Capricorn, right? So Saturn energy. So Saturn is kind of more darker colors, that's the color dark, but you don't need to wear those colors, otherwise it's like too much sugar in the coffee, right? So you need to stay more lighter colors, like blue, beige, green, off lighter colors. Lighter colors around you would always be very, very good. And as Sun or Neptune, other stones that I said would also be very good for you. In some cases, even Mercury, in your case, you can even wear an emerald, an emerald, why emerald is compatible with the ruler Saturn that rules you. And emerald is very good for communication. Emerald is very good for cash, money. It's just the young prince in astrology, right? It's excellent for trade. Many famous celebrities, I've known in the film industry in India, wear an emerald. But emerald will also work for you. If you ever consider one, an emerald will also bring you great luck.
Okay. You mentioned, I think the furthest out there idea is, and I don't mean it in a negative way, with all respect, is your connection to your pet. How does that work?
Oh yeah, so that's very important. So the pets, so in my book, I have given the numerology, or I've deduced the names and their connection with numbers on pets, right? So see, so just the name, right? Say for example, boxer, right? The boxer has the energy of Jupiter, which is, I think, is the number 3, and then there are different pets as well. So if you look at the book, it's somewhere in the book there. And so what happens is,
let me give you one. I have a cat. Okay, her name is Suki, Sooki.
Okay, let's look at the name Suki, Sooki. So Suki would be
the first time I've mentioned Suki on Guys Radio.
Yeah, so. That's good. So 7, 14, 17, 18, 19, 20. Yeah, so that's good. Moon works for you. Yeah. 1, 2, yeah, 20.
Well,
Suki's good.
She's 10 years old, and she's the sweetest little cat ever. So
yeah, her energy works very well. She's very comfortable, and so are you. You kind of connect very well. Yes.
That's very good.
Yes.
Okay. Now, how about for people, obviously everybody's always thinking about money. What are the, you mentioned bank accounts and Social Security, and how do you work with, and how can our listeners, can they do anything on their own using your books to be able to ascertain if they're set up the right way in terms of their financial opportunities?
Yeah, so that's a great question. So the first thing is, the place where you live, right? Your residence, has to have the right energy, the energy in the sense which is compatible with your numbers, right? To draw that energy to the door. The second thing is, of course, money. Money is going to go into your bank accounts, right? So it's very important that that you have the right bank account, and are you banking with the right financial institution. I have certain banking institutions. I've given the names and numbers here, and then you can look at that too and see your date of birth and what, if you have need any help, I can help you with that, and what would be the best bank for you. And so what happened earlier was, I used to go to a bank, I remember many years ago, and most people said they wonder your business, right? So they say, okay, well, you take these checkbooks and tell us what number you want, we'll give it to you. But not anymore. So if you go to a bank now, right, they have a computer generated number and say, here, take this, buddy, and that's it.
Exactly.
So for that one, I suggest, pick a right bank and the right day, or, like Fridays is good for banking, it's Venus energy. I say Fridays or Thursday, Friday are two good days to go and make an appointment to go get a bank account. But then the bank numerology, the number of the bank also has to be connected with you. See, that is very important.
So I also, in terms of places to live in, and your book has a lot of fascinating examples about people finding the right places to live, and sometimes what they felt was the right place was the wrong place. So I gave Jesse my information about where we live right now. We moved from New York to Southern California. We're renting. And I didn't tell Jesse this when I gave him the numbers. We've been looking to move. And he said, move. So is there any parameters in terms of places to look, or is it all about the numbers?
No, it is all about the numbers. What we'll do is we'll probably patch your number after we are done here. We'll suggest a little patch on your door, right? And what that'll do is that'll point you in the right direction. It'll make it easier for you to pick the right place.
Now, how does that work? Because if you have, like, I have the name of the number of the building, and then I have the number of the unit we're in, but we want to move out of the building. So how would you patch a number?
We'll just patch them. By patching, what I mean is adding a tiny number to the main numbers on the door. We don't want to look at the building. Okay. Just what's up on your door, right? To shift the energy, correct the energy, so that it points you, the right opportunity comes to the door, right? And so I'll definitely suggest some for you.
Okay.
And that'll help you. Yeah.
You also mentioned, and I use myself as an example just so our listeners can kind of get some contextual relationship to this. So you said, oh, your place should face east. Well, I'm sitting in my office area, and the place does face east. When you walk into the room and you walk into the unit, everything faces east. The door opens into the unit facing east. I'm facing east right now, and we basically are facing.
That is excellent. So you should always face east, the rising sun. Because this is your business. You're communicating with the whole world, right? And you need the sun to shine right behind you. In your case, because that number, sun is very strong. Okay. Excellent for your business. Yeah.
That's very interesting. So what can some of the folks at home do? They're going to get your books, of course, and we'll talk about that. But just to get started, something they can just try really quickly on themselves. What would be the first thing they should do to get a sense as to what their number is? Because there's been a lot of books about what your numbers are, and it's a different methodology. So what can our listeners do to use your methodology in Chaladian or the Astronumerology to just get a sense as to what their number is?
So what they could do is, I have over 70 videos on my website, right? That has a lot of information there too. They can go through all that, and given many examples. I have a book that I wrote earlier. It's called The Power of Home Numbers. That has a lot of information too, right? And this one has a lot of information too, right? And any savvy reader, most of our readers they're so clever, and they pick up things so quickly, and they have so many answers. Yeah, it's they're very, very savvy, so they'll learn very quickly. Yeah.
Okay.
How about science?
Let's look at what's going on in our country right now. So it's the year 2022. We have you did the Biden's numbers, and you did Trump's numbers, and you did Obama's numbers in your book. Fascinating stuff. Where are we right now? This is end of January 2022. What's going on?
Yeah, so see, the year 2022, it's moon's rise, but it also has a definite touch of Venus energy. Now, Venus is unpredictable. It's a hot planet, right? It's like a woman, right? They say there are many layers to Venus, and so it's very hard to understand a woman needs too, But Venus is a hot planet. And so what happens is, this year, there'll be like whatever already happened in Tonga, but there'll be a lot of fire damage, a lot of fires and earthquakes and all that's lined up this year. But financially, the money flow is going to get much, much better. That is for sure, it's a year of recovery, but that's going to start maybe more towards the end of February, as that comes in. They'll be, but it's more feminine. It's like women rising to power, right? Women coming into very important positions. You'll find many who win prominent positions in the Congress and win elections and all that too. But women power definitely, and then and travel will get better too. Travel will get better. The current energy right now is going to slowly start diminishing, or whatever is happening right now. But as far as President Biden is concerned, I had mentioned his numerology in my book, and so he entered his Saturn year. Now he turned 79 last year, November the 20th. He entered his 80th year, which is Saturn year. Now Moon 2 and Saturn 8. So the Moon and Saturn, don't get well together, And so what happens? So that period has begun, right? And so he has to be a little careful. As he moves forward, President Biden has to be really cautious, right? I'm not saying this because, it is President Biden. I'm just saying it because this is a principle in numerology, right? It works, 2 and 8 would work the same for anybody, anybody. So say, for example, if you have a 8 date of birth and you're entering your 29th year, it'll do the same thing. So it's the same for everybody. So he has to be very careful, very cautious, watch his health. And then even the pressure around him is going to be very intense, and it's like the people trying to pull the rug under his feet. That energy is very, very strong right now. So that's how it is. But I do feel that economically, money flows, strength, energy, economy is definitely going to get better. Just watch.
Good to hear. How about, I guess the word on everybody's lips is the pandemic, the COVID thing, and there's so many, and it's COVID-19. So much about that going on, and so much confusion and so much conflicting. Now that data is coming out, there's so much conflicting information, and it's just, to me, it's like it's so dysfunctional what's going on out there. I mean, people are trying, but it's like people make mistakes too. So what's going on with the whole COVID thing?
Yeah, so with COVID, in my book, if you in my book on page 130, I've talked about that too. And so the energy of COVID was more had a lot of Uranus energy in the year 2020, and that's what the name carries, right? And I've mentioned in my book about COVID, and I've indicated that this year, the current year is kind of contradicting, as the energy is kind of opposing. But what I feel is I'm just basing it on my numbers, and I'm no scientist or I'm not a doctor, but basing on numbers only, I'd say that it's more like the end of this year or early 2023. It's going to be, we're going to have a better grip on this. I think we have a better grip on this whole situation, and it'll be minimized. There'll be more control over it. This worry, scare, flutter was going to definitely come down. And things going to improve.
Okay, Jesse Kalsi, my special guest on Guys Radio. We're talking about his latest book, All About Numbers: Attract Luck, Abundance, and Joy Based on Your Numbers. Really interesting conversation. So we both live in California. I'm in Southern California. Looks like you're up in Northern California. Yes. From reading. There's been a lot of speculation about kind of changes with the planet and kind of a global shifting in terms of the landscape, if you will, and people saying things about, California breaking off or whatever. It's not good to be on the coast and all of that. What's your, from a astronumerology standpoint, what is your sense as to what's going on with the planetary shifts?
So this year, like I said earlier, right, because Venus is a hot planet, right? And this year, in the year 2022, there's definitely going to be a lot of earthquakes, right? That's going to happen this year for sure. The Earth's going to shake, and there's a lot of fire and fire damage as well. But I wouldn't say anything more than that. We live in California, and we want to stay together and happy, and
exactly.
We pray to God that it's all together. No, none of that. Yeah.
How about and one of my last questions? How about when you're looking, or if you have a partner? Can you match up your numbers beforehand? When let's say you're married and you look at your numbers like, hey, this doesn't work. What do you look at for the numbers for couples? How do you match them up?
We use the same code, right? So what happens is, the names are very important, the way we pronounce the names, right? So that has to kind of match vibrationally, and that can be corrected. Now that can only be matched and corrected firstly on your date of birth, and then, as the partners live together. Then there's certain gems and crystals also, help in kind of making the relationship stronger. The place where you live is also very important, right? You know how it is? But the energy is not very good, and the things start happening. So these things have to be considered. But the most important thing in a relationship, I feel, is the name. The name vibration, the way it is pronounced and said, all the time, is very important.
So, for instance, I'm married. So my wife uses. We share the same last name. So if I give you her name, would you be able to give me a quick read?
Yeah, sure, if you want to.
Okay. Yeah, sure. It's and we'll do this live on the air. It's a Uni, UNI, and then Manni, MANNI.
Okay, so we got uni. So uni goes 6 and 5 is 11 and 12. Okay, so yeah, so uni is definitely compatible with Jupiter. And then MANNI, we did that earlier. So we go 5 and 5, 10, 11, 12, and 4 is 16. So she has Jupiter and you have Neptune. So yes, we get little shift there, 4, 5, and maybe one end would be better, I say. So yeah, that's just off the what day and month is she born, Uni?
She's born February 12th.
That's all I need. Okay, February 12th. Yeah, so February 12th. So February 12th. Let me do a quick number on her. February 12.
You need the year?
So February 12 is 5 plus 1, 6. Yeah, but she's got very good numbers, you know. She got Mercury and Venus is really good. Yeah, so she's a very intelligent person, you know.
Yes, she is
very
smart.
good for you.
She's
very smart.
Yes, she's the smartest person I know.
Very lucky for you, I can say.
Yes.
Very good for you. Excellent. Yeah, her code's very strong. She could wear, again, see, the emerald is coming again. So I think if you both wear an emerald or something green, you know, that'll kind of, you know, make it really good. Communication, business, money, and everything else. Yeah, for her, emerald would be fantastic. Fantastic. And you as well. Yeah.
Fantastic. Okay. Jesse, tell everybody where they can find out more about you, get your books, do a session with you, because you really do wonderful work. And I'm really pleased that you're here with us on Guys Radio. So let everybody know where they can find you.
Thank you. So you can reach me on my website, which is jessekalsi.com. It's spelled JESSEKALSI.com. And you can also buy my books from Amazon. My first book, The Power of Home Numbers, and the second one, All About Numbers.
And great, incredible work. Keep doing it. And thank you so much for being on Guys Radio. I hope we can do it again, Jesse.
Thank you, Manny. Thank you very much. Have a wonderful day.
Okay. If you enjoy the guests and content I bring you each and every week on Guys Radio and TV, please support us by subscribing to our channels. Thanks.